3, 2, 1. Hello everybody, this is Soomin and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a Q&A video for those of you who's starting to learn English, for those of you who need some advices on how to study English. I'm gonna split this Q&A video into two parts. So today is going to be conversational English / academic English. Follow-up video is going to be business English. So the first question, what's the best way to learn academic English and conversational English? To be honest, I don't think there is a perfect method to learn academic English and conversational English at the same time because the purpose is just different. Academic English is for you to get into university, for you to get through university, but conversational English is for you to be able to talk to your friends or partners or families in English. 두 마리 토끼를 한 번에 잡는 게 쉽지 않으니까 I would say know what you really need at the moment. Do you need academic English because your exams coming up? Do you need conversational English because you wanna be more comfortable when you talk to other people in English? Choose the purpose of why you are learning English and then start from there. The second question is, how can I practice? How can I study academic English? You're gonna get tons of essays. You have to write that essays in English. For me, the practice that got me through university was the time and my effort that I put it into IELTS writing. Obviously, I had to take IELTS to get into university here in the UK. Genuinely, I didn't know how much IELTS writing could help me writing essay. I personally think there is reason why IELTS is one of the popular exam that you have to take to get into university abroad. They are giving you a topic, so you have to argue if you disagree or agree with that topic in English. They're giving you a graph, so you have to read the graph, describe what they're trying to say out of all the data on that graph. The process of having that answer to those questions is very similar to set up your arguments outline for your essay. First of all, you have to have an opinion about certain topics, and then you have to get some references from books. Basically the same thing. So if you really want to improve your academic English, then study IELTS writing. And the next question, this is actually from a friend of mine. She's my university 후배 back in Korea. She said, how did you even write a dissertation in English? I'm not going to lie, I genuinely thought I was gonna fail. I was so lost at the very beginning. I can only share the mistake. If I hadn't done that, that would have saved me a lot of time because it's a longest essay that I've ever written. So I was thinking if I write that dissertation in Korean and then translate it into English later, that would be better. But no, the first draft was actually a garbage because it doesn't make sense. I had to rip up all the paragraph, all the arguments that I set up at the very beginning and start from the beginning. However, when I set up some keywords, key points for each graph and some references that I have to use for that chapter, then just starting from the beginning in English, that helped me a lot. That actually took less time. So do not make the same mistakes even when you're writing essay. If you're writing Korean first and then translate into English, it would be a total nonsense. The way of thinking changes depends on the languages. The next question is, how did you practice your intonation and accent when speaking English? This question actually got me thinking if I ever invested time in accent and my intonation. Sometimes pronunciations, I don't know, it never actually came across that I have to work on this. I think at the very beginning, I accepted the fact that I won't be a native English speaker. It's never, can I speak like a native English speaker? It's more like, can I talk to the person next to me in English? Can I buy the coffee at the Starbucks in Vancouver? I think it was more like that. Accent and intonation, you will learn it over time. It's gonna take more than a year, more than a couple years. Even after those time, you might not be able to speak in a perfect intonation and accent, but that's fine. You're building up your own English. We're living in 2022. Everybody speaks English. They're from different nationalities. Therefore, they're going to have their own accent. Instead of being obsessed with the perfect pronunciation, accent, and intonation, be more focused on speak up. Next question is the most popular question that I get asked all the time. I'm a beginner. Where do I even start? Before talking about where to start, I would really want to talk about consistency. We have to understand the fact that learning a new language takes time. You can't just sit there either in a classroom or on your desk. Somehow magically you will have better English. You have to physically invest your time to study, but more importantly, constantly. If you're ready to study English on a daily basis, then I cannot recommend 가벼운학습지 more than this. I have worked with 가벼운학습지 a while ago. If you watched that video, then we all know how strong the curriculum is in this book. But as I said, we have to study constantly. Consistency is a key. So just invest 15 minutes a day. Finish this thin book per week. If you're desperate to study English, if you want to start over from the beginning, then please finish up the curriculum. Then you will see the result. It's just like losing weight. You have to constantly work out on a daily basis. You have to be on a diet. Some of you might say, but isn't this about learning grammar? Isn't this about improving your writing? They did a little bit of renewal this time. You're gonna find a little QR code in this book. So through this QR code, you're gonna be able to see the speaking lecture. So throughout this speaking lecture, you're gonna be able to practice speaking as well. Really, the curriculum that 가벼운학습지 has is just getting stronger and stronger at this point. You know, one of the efficient way to learn English is you learn the theory and you see the image, and then it all just makes sense in your brain. I think there is like a scientific terms for this. Basically, what you understood matches what you see. Efficient way to learn things. 가벼운학습지 applied that logic into this book. So even though you're studying by yourself, you're gonna get the full support. So I had to fly to Vancouver just to learn English because all the method that I tried back in Korea when I was really young didn't work. But you know, we're living in a better world now. 가벼운학습지 didn't exist back then, which I feel quite salty about. But now we have, why not taking advantage of this? Next question is a follow-up question from previous video. So I recommend writing a journal in English because that really helped me. So the question is, how did you know grammar and the expression that you're using while you're writing a journal back then was correct? If I'm being honest, I didn't know. When I look back reading the journal, I realized that my English back then was terrible. I was writing a total nonsense. I didn't know that, but it didn't matter to me because it was just fun that I was writing a journal in English instead of Korean. Writing a journal has that power. You know, you can foresee tomorrow, a week later, a month later, you can plan your life out. The action of writing a journal was motivating me in a degree. So my answer is I didn't know I was writing a correct grammar, but that's completely fine. As I said in a previous video, 가벼운학습지, the package itself has journal, but this time they separated the books into different level. You know, it's very thin, very portable. Bring the journal. Hello, this is editing Soomin from the future. I'm so sorry for jumping in like this, but I'm literally editing that part. As of this moment, I just realized that I grabbed the wrong book. This is not a journal. This is actually a workbook. The journal that you're looking for is this, not this. So this is the complete new one that the renewal package has to offer. This is the study book. This is the workbook. And this is vocabulary book. So 3 of them is one set. Each level, you're gonna get these 3 as a package. You're gonna get 4 level altogether. However, before starting level 1, there is going to be start 1 and start 2. As you can see here, start 1 and start 2 can be very, very basic. However, you can never go wrong with building up a good foundation. Step 1, you're gonna learn that vocabulary that you need. Step 2, there's going to be speaking part. So based on the vocabulary that you learn from step 1, you're gonna learn how to make a conversation out of it. Moving on to step 3, you're gonna learn a grammar that you can use. And moving on to step 4, you will finally see the conversational pattern. I think this is the key part of the book. So the process is pretty simple and it's really easy to follow. First, you learn the word, and then you will learn conversation that you can make based on the word that you just learned. And then you will study the grammar. You will learn the conversational pattern. And then to finalize what you learn of the day, there is going to be entire exercise. And if you have some extra time, then there is a bonus tip area, but I think this is something that you want to pay attention to because this is the summarized note that you can revise. So that's something that I forgot to mention. And now back to the video. Bring the journal and the vocabulary book together. So in a cafe or right before going to bed, write an English journal. Maybe you can just pick the word that you see and then write a little story about it. It doesn't really matter. But then again, consistency. Do it on a daily basis. And next, whenever you come across to the vocabulary when reading a book, what would you do? I wait until I finish the paragraph, and if I still don't understand the word, then I try to read the before and after sentences to see what nuance and what vibe that vocabulary has. Most of the time I will understand, but just to make sure at the very last step, I Google the meaning. Could you recommend any books to study English? I'm gonna be honest, I didn't read English books until I started to feel comfortable with my English. But the way that I truly enjoy reading books is when I came across my favorite films and realized that that story is actually originated from a book. Then I try to find the book or scripts. It's much more easier for me to read because I am fully aware of the storyline and I understand the characters in that story. That's how I really enjoyed and not get frustrated during the reading journey. I recommend One Day Before Sunsets. They have scripted books. And what is it? Pachinko. Yes. The next question. That's a very good question. I understand why you're feeling in this way because I used to feel very insecure about my English. I used to feel like I have to speak really fast to hide the lack of expression and lack of vocabulary. However, since like a couple years ago, I stopped worrying about what other people would think of my English because I'm very proud of me now. I speak more than one language. I'm very fluent in English and Korean. I realized that not everybody really care about me. So even if I made a huge mistake in English, they wouldn't judge me instantly. The solution for this is for you to have thicker skin. It's completely fine for you to say, "Hi, sorry, I didn't catch that. What was it?" It's completely okay to kind of cut the conversation and ask what that person actually meant. That's how you communicate, I think. When I'm talking to James, when I hear some new expression or hear some new word that I haven't heard before, then I have to stop the conversation and just kindly ask him, "What was that?" Most of the time, it's not because we don't know what that actually meant. It's more like the cultural differences. I kind of knew what that mean, but didn't know fully. Next question. How to start a small talk. How to continue small talk as smooth as possible. I would say start with what you see because small talk is genuinely for ice breaking, so it doesn't have to be that deep. Just start from what you literally see. "Oh, I like your shirts. I like your shoes. Where did you buy it? I really like your smile." So sometimes I continue small talking with 의식의 흐름. Next questions. When I read English subtitles, it's something that I already knew before, but it's really hard to apply that expression in conversation. Is it because of my lack of vocabulary? I would say it's not because of your lack of vocabulary. It's because you do not memorize the whole sentence completely. What's more important than knowing more vocabulary is that memorizing the full sentences, memorizing the full expressions, because it gives you the better view of the sentence sentence structure, so you know where to make some tweaks here and there. Memorize the whole sentences. Next questions. My favorite YouTubers. There are several YouTubers that I follow. Eve Conwell, she's amazing. She was a law student. She shared her journey to become a lawyer, and then she quit, then switched her career into tech industry. Seeing her life journey, seeing her struggles really motivates me. So I'm getting like positive vibe from her content. So she's my favorite YouTuber. She's British. And there is an American YouTuber called Emma Chamberlain. She's very famous. She's the vlog YouTube sensation. She's just so relatable. I really like her. Best Dressed. She stopped making contents on YouTube, but I'm pretty sure she's taking her own time. Also another really relatable friend next door type of person. I really like her too. And Jenim. I think she's very famous too among Korean society because she's Korean American. I used to follow up all of her journey, all of her contents. However, as time goes by, I see most of my favorite YouTubers are getting engaged, married, and having a baby. Until marriage stage, I can totally relate because, you know, that's my life too. However, when my favorite YouTubers got into having a baby stage, I feel a little bit distant because it's something that I am not gonna have in my life. It's something that I'm not really interested in. In a way, I'm a little bit sad that I'm not getting her old contents that I can like completely relate to. However, I'm so happy that she's having her life and moving to another path. Iconic British vlog YouTuber, Joella. But then again, they also got a baby now, so I kind of stopped watching them again. To kill some time, I watch drama channel, like issue contents. So that's how I keep up with all the trendy expression like Gen Z would use, and how I follow with like Hollywood and what's going on in like entertainment industry. So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything that I can cover today. I'm going to be doing a little casual Q&A session on my Instagram. It's just easier there. It's just instant all the time. So make sure to follow my Instagram and I'll be back with the follow-up video. Bye-bye.